Decorator reportedly killed in retaliation for acid attack. A decorator was shot and killed late Wednesday evening along Delamere Avenue, St. Andrew, in what investigators theorize could be retaliation for the acid attack on a woman at the Pavilion Mall in Halfway 3 earlier that day. The deceased has been identified as 43-year-old Mohan Grant. Reports from the police are that about 11:10 p.m., Grant was driving his motorcycle when, on reaching an intersection, a black car drove up and men opened fire, hitting him. He died on the spot. The police say they are pursuing all possible leads and are also asking anyone with information to come forward. At around 1 p.m. on Wednesday, 2 women were injured in an acid attack when 2 men rode a motorcycle to the Pavilion Mall, made their way to the second floor, entered an establishment, and threw a corrosive substance which caused the women. According to reports, the attackers ran from the establishment and were challenged by a security guard who discharged his firearm in their direction. Reporters understand that the female who was reported the intended target remained in hospital in serious condition as she suffered severe burns from her head down. Senior police sources noted that Grant could have been targeted because a relative of his is suspected to have committed the acid attack. Investigations are ongoing into both incidents. Indicom probing alleged fatal shootout in Kendall, Hanover. The Independent Commission of Investigation has launched a probe into an alleged shootout in Kendall, Hanover that resulted in the death of a 23-year-old man. Dead is Jermaine Campbell. Assistant Commissioner at Indicom Hamish Campbell says the 23-year-old was fatally shot by police who claimed he had fired at them during an operation. A firearm was allegedly recovered during the incident. He said no witness was identified at the scene, but anyone who may have information on the fatal shooting is urged to contact the Commission.
Indicom were informed of a fatal shooting in Hanover yesterday, which occurred apparently near 5 o'clock in the evening. The police report to us that a man identified now as Jermaine Campbell, 23 years old, was shot and fatally wounded. The fugitive apprehension team from the area report being on patrol, seeing a man who turned out to be Jermaine Campbell, attempted to search him as they were suspicious of his movements. It's reported that Mr. Campbell produced a firearm, pointed it at the officers, ran away. Short exchange of gunfire occurred, and Campbell was found dead, and a gun was recovered from him. So Indicom did attend the scene, photographed the scene, made inquiries, seized the firearms from the police officers. They provided an account of the incident.
Public nurses request meeting with Finance Minister regarding compensation review. The island's public nurses have called on Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark to contact them to discuss outstanding issues relating to compensation review. The Nurses Association of Jamaica (NAJ) held its third general meeting, at which members expressed frustration with the length of time it is taking for the ministry to implement some items on which agreement has been reached. They claim that the matter has been compounded following the receipt of a letter from the ministry which indicated that some items already agreed to are being reviewed. NAJ President Dawn Mary Richards said previous attempts to meet with the minister or ministry representatives failed. She said the NAJ has written letters to both the ministries of Finance and Health, but the issues remain unsolved. Among the unsolved issues are extra hours worked and uniform policy implementation dates. Mrs. Richards sought to assure citizens that though upset, the nurses will not disrupt patient care.
On Tuesday of this week, we got a letter from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service signed by Mr. Wayne Jones. And that letter speaks to matters that we believe are not in keeping with what we are waiting for, because we know what the policy is on subsistence. We are just awaiting payments for persons. We thought the traveling policy was already sorted out. We are now hearing that they are revising the policy and that we will get information at a later date. No set timelines are in that letter. We also are at the position where we are looking at our outstanding extra hours work policy and uniform policy implementation dates. We have none for those matters either. We are demanding a meeting with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. That is where we are today. We need to know from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service what next. We need to know that, and we need to know that urgently. We are not looking at the withdrawal of services. That is not where we are going. It is not about affecting patient care. That's not what it is about. It is about seeking to the welfare of the nurses of Jamaica. It is said that there is respect for the nurses of Jamaica, but we are not so sure based on what we see. So for the 24-hour deadline, we are asking that the minister gets in touch with us. That's the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark. We are asking you, sir, to get in touch with us or meet with us as early as possible.
Goodness of God in the face of Bear's wrath. On the afternoon of July 3rd, as Hurricane Beryl wrought destruction on their roofless church house in St. Elizabeth, Reverend Tommy Lee and his God-fearing family found peace in the face of danger. There was a peace even though the storm was raging, Lee told reporters. The clergyman was responding to questions in a viral video, capturing his family singing a heartfelt rendition of the gospel song, Goodness of God, as the storm raged overhead and flooded waters filled their home. Reverend Tommy Lee is the pastor of Beacon Pentecostal Church of God Trinity in the Beacon community in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. Along with his wife and 2 daughters, he resides in the church house, which was severely damaged along with the church during the passage of Hurricane Beryl. The storm's eye wall brushes the south coast of Jamaica, leaving a trail of destruction across St. Elizabeth and other southern parishes. The Lee family is among thousands of residents now having to pick up the pieces. Concerning the church, the entire roof of the church is gone. Many of the appliances, the music system, they were damaged just the same, and concerning the house, the roof went off. Only a backroom section of the roof did not go from the house. Some things were left on it, so we ended up putting back on those things, there to store our things in it for the meantime. So it was entirely damaged, in that sense, and all the furniture mashed up, and everything was destroyed, Reverend Lee told reporters. Despite the devastation, Reverend Lee and his wife, church minister Shelley Ann Lee, remain steadfast in their faith and commitment to their community. Beacon Pentecostal Church of God Trinity has been the home to many residents of the Beacon community for more than 2 decades, and while the community is still without light 3 weeks after the storm, it is not without hope. Even though the roof is not on, we're still having church and people are still coming, Reverend Lee stated. It's important because even at this point in time, a lot of persons have suffered loss, a great deal of loss, so it's important to get them out of that depressing state, and this is the one place that we're able to gather as a family, we're able to talk over what has happened, sing, pray, praise God, and together and encourage each other through the word to help uplift somebody's faith even further, he continued. Reflecting on his family's viral moment, the man of faith said they found solace in the song amid the hurricane. He noted, however, that it was his daughters who started singing while they hid under a table as the storm raged. They were the ones who started singing the song, so I took out my phone and said, I'm going to catch them at the verse, and that was where it came in, and we began to sing with them, and they just continued singing, and then I went into that session of worship there, reverently explained. It was the Spirit of God who just overwhelmed me, and we just continued singing and praising and worshiping, because at that point in time, there was a peace even though the storm was raging. There was a peace, the peace of God was upon us in that house, he noted. The pastor said he had no intention of the video going viral. For him, the video was to serve as an instrument of reflection for his family, to look back at the goodness of God. It was a friend with whom he shared the video that made the video go viral, he noted. But he is humbled by the response. The fact that the video had touched lives and helped to transform lives and help people to take another outlook in life whenever they are going through a challenging time, I am good, reverently stated. And the pastor is not afraid of building back, noting that this is the second time that the church and the church house have been damaged during a hurricane. Reverently said he has more sustainable plans for the future. When my former pastor was here in Hurricane Ivan, the church roof went off and a lot of things from the church house went just the same. My plan now is just to get the church roof deck, but that will have to do now. The 2 structures weren't built to deck, so we're going to have to do some adjustment now, put in some columns and so forth, some steel column, he explained. What I'm looking at for the future is because of this whole ordeal. I want the church house and the church to be a shelter. Whenever there is a storm, I want people to know that they can come somewhere that is safe, and that even when the storm is raging on the outside, they can lie down and get a good sleep and don't have to worry about what is going to happen. So that is the aim, to make sure that people are safe if there are to go to be another storm again. I don't care who they are in the community, where they are, who they come from, where they come from. I want to make sure I have somewhere in the church and church house to house people, reverently stated. The clergyman is appealing for financial assistance to help with the pair of both structures. Those who are interested in helping can make donation to Scotiabank, Santa Cruz branch, account number 828990, account name Tammy Lee and Shelly Ann Lee. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.